You're running us over. You're shooting us, all because of the color of our skin. All because we have culture. We brought it here, and we are who we are, and we love it here, and we help people here. That's what we're known for. We help people, and yet we're getting terrorized. We're going through this. Our families are being our babies are literally being ripped from our hands. If someone could please tell me if there's something we can do if there's something we could do to help our people, please just imagine yourself in our situation. Imagine your people are being terrorized. They're being ran over. If you literally cannot have empathy for someone, I don't know what to tell you. You're an evil ass human being, and you need help, and you need God. You have no heart, and hell, there's a special place in hell for you. Karma is real, and God will take care of them. This is so heartbreaking. I don't know what we could do to help. I feel so helpless. I just want to help with something. I just want this to end. I just want there to be peace.
And when all of this is said and done, we're never going to forget those of you that celebrated this. Those of you that cheered on while innocent families were ripped apart, while people were chained up at their workplaces. And honestly, I hope you're met with the same lack of compassion that you give us. And that's the only thing that brings me comfort right now.
Okay, so the days of mistreating freedmen and us just forgiving and helping people when it's convenient for them, it looks like a lot of that is over. And I'm going to start off by saying this. Boyle Heights. For those who don't know, Boyle Heights was actually a predominantly black community in LA that is now all Mexican. Now, some would say, how did that happen? Because her people, who they throwing a lot of them out of this country now, of course, they're not the only ones, but her people right now who we're focused on, they firebombed and shot at black people in this black community. I mean, straight up terrorized these people and did everything they could to get that community. It's funny, you don't hear much about it, but yeah, Boyle Heights. And honey, that wasn't the only black community that they took over. This happened countless times. Her community been doing this and practicing anti-black behavior as recent as 2014. We even had many of our ancestors who are now gone telling us this was going on in the 90s and definitely went on before then. Now, some of your people voted for this man. You wanted to be a part of them folks, and look what happened. The same folks tossing y'all up out of here. And y'all expect for us to feel sorry or for me to go out here and get pelted with rocks, rubber bullets, and tear gas and arrested and all this by people who did this to mine? Nah. Anybody who wants to go can go, because that's not my style to tell people what they need to do. Even though a lot of people like doing that, I don't do that. But this Freedman woman won't be going. Again, Boyle Heights. And it's not the only one. I just singled that one out. Personally, I don't understand why it's so hard that America can't enforce their immigration laws, but other countries have them and do practice them. We couldn't go in no other country and do this foolishness they doing. We can't. While y'all fighting ICE, why don't y'all fight the corruption in your homeland instead of coming here demanding things that you're not entitled to and so spoiled and used to getting your way, you're acting a plumb fool. See, the last administration let you do that where you didn't have to pretty much protest because they were giving y'all everything, which is why a lot of them lost. Okay, one of the many reasons. But this administration ain't playing that. And this is the one thing I agree with Trump on. You know, I don't agree with all his stuff, but this I do. I'm independent anyway, so it wouldn't matter. So I'm prepared for, the shields to come in the comments doing the most and call me MAGA and all this. Cool. Bet. It ain't changing though. Still tripping over how we so lazy and how y'all immigrants built, America when every industry here was built off the backs of black people. It wasn't just cotton, you guys. We had, indigo crops, all the cash crops really. And indigo, of course, the jeans came from that. That was one of us. That was called Negro cloth. I'm confused. Insurance, mortgage, renting, the stock market, all that was created with us. So I don't know what you build or what you told yourself you build, but no, it's coming off like a freeloader to me. Anyway, this stolen land myth, I want to hit that for a minute. Nobody's free on stolen land. Mexico actually paid the U.S. $15 million then for the land. It was called the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Now, I may be saying Hidalgo wrong, but anyway, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. That actually ended the Mexican-American War in 1848. And this payment right here was in exchange for Mexico ceding states like present-day California, Nevada, and more. So how was it stolen if the U.S. paid $15 million plus there's a few extra things as well for the land? Does that sound like theft to you? Stop lying and trying to change the narrative. Now, what y'all did with that money, that is not on us. It's not my fault. You got finessed by your leaders. Anyways, back to Boyle Heights real quick. Black people there couldn't live in peace because you violently chased and terrorized them out and used your gangs, and you sided with them folks and, pretty much helped to push them out, and you benefiting from it now. And you know what's funny? Some of the same areas y'all push black people out of, ICE is pushing you guys all out of. See? You thought you was going to enjoy that area forever? No. Shout out to Brother Terry Anderson. He's now an ancestor who told us the truth in the 90s, but many didn't listen. Rest in power. Now, these people stole and tried to ethnic cleanse black people, stole their homes in the area, and you can't have peace. You thought you was going to have peace? ICE is your peace. There you go. Now you got to look over your shoulder, just like our people had to look over their shoulder when you firebombed and did all this stuff to their house, all because of who they were. You can't do people wrong and think it's going to not come back to you. At some point it will. That's just karma. All those homes you stole. I'm cool with Donald Trump taking them out. Send more. Send ICE, military, everybody. Never let them rest like our people here in this community, as well as other communities in LA and all over the US. They couldn't rest. It's karma. They get what they get. And y'all, they have been doing this, firebombing people from the beginning of time since they got here. But the most notable was 2014. 2014. Meanwhile, the Democrats are here capping, for these people after what they have done. Now on to her foolishness. First of all, girl, bye. We've always been treated terribly in this country. And if you were supposedly an ally, then you would know that. Black people always have been being separated from their families for centuries, whether it through the war on drugs, slavery, convict leasing, lynching, and more. Now, what are you talking about? Because a lot of y'all sat and watched that, okay? Now, speaking of forgetting, you mean like how we didn't forget? We tried to have an allyship with y'all and y'all sided with them folks? I mean, I'm still seeing racist tendencies. What about the countless gangs who done things against black people? Always have. Brother Terry Anderson used to tell us about that. You guys, I also remember, I didn't forget, when those Hispanic people on the council were caught plotting against us. Anybody remember that councilwoman? She made that statement, F him, he's with the blacks. You can call on them. Honey, there was never an allyship with us. All y'all do is pick a few instances in history that make y'all look and feel good when it's convenient. Y'all don't talk about how the Spanish were the first to enslave black people, or how you breed out the black, or how you use it only when it's convenient. What about how Hispanics did not want us to get reparations, and you formed an alliance with some of the Asians in your area? And y'all made it clear y'all felt like y'all should not have to come here to this country and pay a debt to people when you weren't here. Now, newsflash, when you go to a country, you have no choice but to follow the rules there, and you inherit whatever debt or anything they have. You don't get to pick and choose. You should know that. I mean, you couldn't pick and choose where you were from. That's why you're fleeing. I could go on for days. I mean, really. I don't have 1 ounce of sympathy. And I would suggest her call on those leaders that they have. What about Fat Joe? He trying to get involved with everything black. What about these TikTok activists? Or better yet, your little council people who were taking up for you? Where are they? Why are they not speaking out for you? And I don't feel sorry for California in general. I remember when Gavin Newsom, took black freedmen and FBA through all this foolishness with reparations. I mean, over the years, only to screw us over with the black boule, wasting our time. Now, y'all came here thinking y'all were better. And we're fine being classified as, them folks. Now they got a taste of what them folks will do to you, just like us. Didn't want to listen to us when we tried to ally, when we tried to warn you. And now here, this is what you got. And guys, it's going to get worse. We're only a few months in. Only a few months in and y'all whining. But we've been going through this for centuries. Now, if you illegal, you illegal. You can't come to a country if your documentation isn't right and demand things. You didn't demand things at home. I mean, if that's the case, you wouldn't be fleeing. But you repping flags for them, though, right? If you put all this effort into your homeland, you wouldn't be over here freeloading or begging for something this current administration just ain't gonna give you. Trump ain't playing with y'all out here in these streets. And look, y'all still don't have it as bad as us. We've been going through this for centuries. You look crazy out there, begging to be accepted and for things that you don't deserve in a country that you fled to, but then you turn around and waving a flag of another country that you fled from. You guys, it's just mind-boggling to me. But y'all gonna learn today. California and many of these other cities where they acting a fool in, they were giving them help. You got housing. Hell, California was even trying to give them home loans. But yet California and the U.S. itself have a devastating homeless population. People can barely afford rent. People are getting thrown out of their homes. We had issues with these people with squatting, crime. And this is how the Democrats lost in November. This is truly one of the reasons. They're tone deaf. Now, you will hear many of them say, oh, we lost because people weren't ready for a woman president. And they harped on our black men who did not vote for Kamala. And they got Obama to say something. And our men tore him up as they should. We don't owe her a thing. And second of all, a lot of black people did vote for her, but a lot of people didn't. But my thing is, why didn't they tell the people of her husband's community, oh, you need a civics class, or talk down to them? Why didn't you go and, mess with her community, the Indian or the Asian community, about why they didn't vote for her? I don't see you keeping up with the numbers of them. And they did the most for these people. The Asians got a hate crime bill. The Indians, those are her people. Don't you think you're supposed to support your people? But no, they want to come up here and talk down to us, the grassroots, who said no. This tone deaf behavior right here, taking care of everybody else but us. These people will crash out, go to jail for. Even one of the council members was just out here crashing out recently. We had Miss Maxine, she out here, they done closed the door in her face. She out here crashing out for them. Why don't you do that for the people or the FBAs in California, the ones who are struggling to get by, and you want our vote? Another story for another day, though. Illegals, you made your bed, and all of them going to lay in it, whether they're Hispanic or not. No other group has stuck their neck out for FBA or Freedmen, and we not sticking our neck out, or some of us are not doing it anymore for you. Hispanics, they've always put down black people. They talk about this fabricated black on black crime. There's no such thing. People commit crime where they cohabitate. So if we're going to do black on black crime, we're going to do them folks on them folks crime, because y'all have had a crime against humanity since forever. Hispanics, okay, since we talking about division, what about your people who voted for Trump? I don't see you saying much to them. They didn't want you here. Isn't that divisive? And what's shameful is the fact that you're being taken care of better than American citizens. It's not so much that people like Trump. It's just that Trump was with it when it came to these illegals. Democrats were flooding, and Trump came in and took that opportunity and said no more flooding. And this is what y'all have. Y'all sat quietly, turned a blind eye, told us, oh, all y'all about is race, and downplayed everything we tried to tell you. Every time we get something, it's always black and brown. Notice, every time we get something, it's black and brown. Meanwhile, these people never shared what they were getting. When California was trying to give them home loans, they never came up and said, oh, what about our black brothers and sisters? They should be eligible for home loans too. No. Not one thing. Y'all are happy getting everything for yourself. But you let us get something. Even with the movie that they just had, Sinners, y'all were whining because y'all aren't included. Let me make this clear. FBA Freedmen don't owe you nothing. And you are not to be included every time we get something. I don't care if you don't like it, and I don't care if the boule don't like it. If anything, you need to be saying thank you, for the 14th Amendment that was passed for us, that you benefit from, and the civil rights movement. Also, and to Gavin Newsom, he's supposed to be a friend to us because he's part of the party that, our group vote for 90% of the time. And he has truly shown his true colors for those who are willing to open their eyes and see it. It's amazing he could be okay with these illegals getting all these benefits. But yet the people whose land they've stolen and wealth who they've, pretty much made their own can't get a thing. I mean, this man actually wasted all of our time with the reparations movement that he never intended to pass anyway. Go look up that story. There was a story on that I did previously. But he had no problem giving tangibles to illegals. Again, nothing for the people who he expect to vote for him. And y'all, he had an attitude about it when they asked him about this months ago and last year. I mean, willing to give them home loans. But your state has homelessness like crazy. Many of them FBA. If you can't see something is wrong with that, then I don't know what else to tell you. And I don't care how many Democratic shields come in the comments talking about this is lies. It's all truth, and you don't have to like it for it to be the truth. And they keep bringing up this lie that California is liberal and slavery was not practiced there. That is a lie. San Bernardino was a slave colony, and other slave masters brought their slaves in that state to dig in the gold mines and more. State legislators just turned a blind eye to it. But he's never tried to do anything for those descendants. Never. All of this karma is his embarrassment. That's what you get. And Trump is going to continue to embarrass you by sending Marines and others to get involved in these riots. And yes, I said riots because that's what they are. I mean, you sitting up there taking up for these people, throwing rocks, at the agents and acting a plumb fool, setting fire to cars, all because they're illegal. Where was this energy for black people? But you expect us to vote for you. I will be eating popcorn as I watch them whine and cry, lie about how FBA can be deported, which is not even possible. Listening to all the shields getting the attitude. They tell you need a civics class, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you're lying, or they out here trying to guilt trip you, or pretty much compare it to the civil rights movement. Nothing is compared to that. FBA don't owe you nothing. And don't let nobody shame you into believing that you have to do anything for anybody else. We've done enough for everybody. We've enriched everybody. We've befriended everybody. And look where it got us. So now it's time to focus on ourselves. Now I'm going to go ahead and attempt to conclude this video. I get a little long-winded and passionate about my people. And I do want to circle back on slavery really quick. There are many, who, again, still think that San Bernardino was not a slave colony, or some just don't know. So at the end of this video, I have pretty much provided a few receipts for you if you take a listen. And you'll also see that Miss Biddy Mason has also proved that California had slavery. Miss Biddy Mason is a black woman who walked all the way to California behind her master just so he can use his slaves to enrich himself. And that's just the truth. So anyways, take a listen to how San Bernardino came about. And be sure to like and subscribe. I would also encourage you guys to go to our website and sign up for our upcoming Black Wall Street launch, as that will be coming in August. Or shall I say Black August? And one more thing, okay? Happy Father's Day to our black masculine freedmen men and all of our riders who understand our fight. There are still some black men who love us and not so negative, and just know that there are so many of us black freedmen women who love you all. We not with the divisive tactics. We love you. We appreciate you. We need you. You are all of that, okay? And that you are the only person that I would choose to lead me. I love my black FBA freedmen men, and don't you forget it, okay? Anyways, be sure to tell me how you feel below. Are you putting the cape on for them, or do you feel sorry for them? Let me know. Either way, take care Thanks for listening to the video. Now I want to swing back around to the San Bernardino tea. Now, as I stated, there's this notion that California has always been friendly to black people, and that's just not the case. San Bernardino was a slave colony, and also many other slave masters brought their slaves into California just to enrich themselves, not the slaves, okay? And many of the California lawmakers just turned a blind eye to it. So just because it's not taught in schools doesn't mean it didn't happen. Anyways, take a listen to this history that's not taught in many schools, and be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And one more thing, please be sure to sign up to my upcoming website, www.moorthreads.co, for the upcoming Black Wall Street launch merch. And tell me in the comments, guys, if you feel sorry for some of these people or if you don't. I mean, I'm not here to judge. I just speak for myself, not for everyone else. So anyways, thank you for listening. Take care, guys. Did you know that even though California was considered a free state, Black American slavery did take place there? Here's the backstory of which you didn't learn in schools. In 1851, 450 Mormons were sent by their church from Utah to establish a colony in California. Within several years, a settlement would grow there to more than 3,000. They then decided to build a town, a government, and establish a separate county of San Bernardino. To transform the land into a thriving settlement, Black American slaves were brought in the area, about 26 to be exact, and more slaves were brought in as San Bernardino continued to grow. Since California was technically a free state, as its constitution outlawed slavery, slaves should have been freed when they entered the state. They were not, though, as white supremacists dominated the courts and the land. Many of the slaves also could not read or write and were ignorant to the law. There were few, like Miss Betty Mason, the black founder of downtown LA, who would learn and later freed herself and her family, but not many. In the 1840s, when the gold rush hit, even more whites came to the state of California, with enslaved blacks, forcing them to work in the gold mines and often hiring them out to cook, serve, and perform other labors. Thousands were forcibly imported here as slaves from all over the U.S. Without Black Americans, there would be no San Bernardino, California, and the state did play a role in Black